So I'm Jordan, I'm here with YSTV. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. I'm Shannon Little. I'm the Deputy Head of Student Support and I'm a former Conduct and Respect Advisor. I'm a trained independent sexual violence advisor and I specialised with supporting children before coming to university as a worker. And then I work within Conduct and Respect, so I investigated student misconduct, so investigating instances of sexual misconduct that have happened by registered students to registered students. So I work as part of the wider Conduct and Respect team, and we help kind of arrange the Sexual Violence Awareness Week to create awareness and promote the activity of the team, partner agencies, wider services, and yeah, so I was a marshal today, which is why I'm wearing this lovely orange tabard, and then it's really nice to kind of link in with my new role in terms of student support, so people know what support is available as well. So a lot of it is kind of boundaries as well, and people's level of tolerance and resilience, so particularly if they are international, things might be more acceptable, things might be less acceptable, so it's just, especially in a college environment as well, finding that mix and kind of that right level of behaviour, but then also York is its own little microclimate as well, so kind of making sure that students feel like they can belong here, especially if they don't necessarily see themselves in like a lot of students. It's kind of making sure that they've got that sense of belonging in the community.
Hi, I'm Sophie. I am the Sexual Violence Response and Prevention Manager at the university, and my role is part Sexual Violence Liaison Officer, so I manage a small caseload of students who have experienced sexual misconduct. And another part of my role is to work on the prevention side of the strategy against sexual violence at the university. So prevention is all around education, really. So it's helping people to understand what sexual violence is and what it isn't, all around consent and healthy relationships, and really importantly how to talk about sexual violence in a way that is productive and constructive as well. So it's really about getting the right messages out there and demystifying a lot of the wrong messages that are out there about sexual violence, and making sure that people understand what healthy consensual relationships and especially sexual relationships are.
My name's Colette and I'm a Sexual Violence Liaison Officer, and I support a caseload of students that have experienced sexual violence at any point throughout their life, and we look at the practical and emotional support we can provide at their time during university. So we are very much a student-led service, so there is never any pressure if a student came to visit us to seek support. There's never any pressure to tell us what happened. We don't go into detail. We don't have to go into detail about the incident. And you can just expect a safe space to come and speak very openly about the here and now, what you're feeling, and what you need support with going forward. Sometimes we might not know all the answers, but we work, as you've seen tonight, with a lot of specialist agencies, a lot of different charities that do provide that excellent specialist support. But I think the main thing is we give you that safe space to come and speak and have that listening ear.
My name is Charlie Jeffrey and I'm the Vice-Chancellor. I think one of the most important things of being a Vice-Chancellor is to think about the welfare of our 22,000 odd students. And that's just the obvious link to being here tonight when we're shining a light on sexual violence, showing that we stand with those who are survivors of it, but also making sure that the university has all the support in place that it can offer to people who've been in these dreadful circumstances. I think it's really important in a position like mine to make sure that you engage with people across the university. And tonight we've got a fantastic mix of students, of staff, academic staff, professional services staff, the specialist staff who work in our sexual violence team. We've got people from outside in charities working with us I've got to know these people in order to be able to do what I can to support the activities that they're all trying to do, which is to support those who are victims of sexual violence, to do what we can to prevent sexual violence, and to work with other organisations who share the same ambitions as we do.
Hi, my name is Mags Goderidge and I'm the CEO of Survive, which is a sexual violence charity operating in York and North Yorkshire. We were really lucky last year where the students decided at the University of York to have Survive as their charity partner for the Roses event. And at that point we were hoping maybe they'd raise a couple of £1,000. We were absolutely blown away when they actually raised significantly more than that. And then the University of Lancaster and also the University of York decided to match the fundraising. So in the end, over 15,000 was raised, which is a significant amount for our charity. We decided, however, but because we support around 100 students a year from across the city, that what we would do is actually use all of that money on a special scheme to support student survivors. So what we've found is in recent years we've had such high demand that the students were waiting maybe 6 or 9 months to access counselling, and we wanted to reduce that to nearer to 3 months, and we've been able to do that by basically employing another counsellor who is just working with student survivors.
So I'm here with Hannah and Grace. Hannah, do you want to tell us a bit about what you do first?
Yeah. So I work for IDAS, and IDAS is a domestic abuse charity in York and North Yorkshire, and I'm an ISVA, which stands for Independent Sexual Violence Advisor. So we support people that are going through the criminal justice system. We also support people that aren't, because it's up to people to make the decision if they want to report sexual abuse or not. So we can work with people for 6 months, or we might work with people for a few sessions, or we might be working with somebody for up to 6 years. Yeah, 5 years is probably the longest actually we've worked, but the criminal justice system is long. Everything takes a long time. People can come back and report at any time, so it's not time limited. And there is another avenue that people can go down if they want to do something but not report to police. They can do an anonymous intelligence, so they can do a report with us and go through the details of what happened, the name of the individual or details about the individual, and that gets put into an intelligence department in the police. So that person is not identified as having given that anonymous intelligence, but the details of the person and a slight information about the crime goes into the police system. And it just means if anything else is flagged up on that person that has committed the crime, the police will get back in touch with the person who has given the report to see if they want to report. But therapeutically, it means that someone can go through all the details with somebody that can hold that. There's kind of quite a cathartic effect of going through that information.
So I'm Grace and I'm also an ISVA. I started quite recently, I'm quite fresh, so I'm just currently learning the role, but it's the same as Hannah. She's the lead ISVA. Doesn't blow her own trumpet enough. But just supporting those who have experienced sexual violence, whether that is through the criminal justice system or whether it's just practical support moving on after sexual violence. I'd say that the best part about the role is it's just how rewarding it is and how good you feel when you're genuinely helping somebody who is in crisis and really needs that support and has gone through trauma.
My name is Hannah Nimmo and I'm Community and Wellbeing Officer at the University Students' Union. In a sentence summary, I represent students on any issue that affects the student community or their well-being. That's a whole host of different things, so I do a lot of different things in my job. But I guess my relevance to tonight is that I'm the student representative on the Gender-Based Violence Steering Group, so I represent students in the whole sexual violence space and represent their points of view and their experiences as well. I think sort of having things like tonight where it's like we all come together in sort of solidarity with different people's experience, I think is really important. But to me, I think the key is just being a listening ear to someone else. Like if someone needs someone to speak to, just being willing to be like, I'm here non-judgmentally and I'm not going to sort of try and interpret your own experience. You tell me how it is that you see it and I will try my best to understand that, because I think sometimes it can be you sometimes like put your own experiences onto other people, and it's actually you just listen and you just be there for them as much as they need you to be, and it's sort of be really respectful of their boundaries. If they don't want to talk about it too much, that's okay. If they want to share their own story, that's also okay. But also self-preservation in that is really important, in that if it does become too much for you, you can help them to access other support as well. You don't have to hold that burden just on yourself.